And these are also people who know how much you can learn and how much you can create when you're highly motivated, like, for example, when you're building a company. So naturally, they're going to be attracted to homeschooling. They're also capital rich and poor on time. And frankly, a lot of them are living in the SF Bay Area where the schools are kind of a disaster. The public schools have been destroyed. And even the private schools, frankly, are full of drugs and over-socialization and teenage depression. So I do think they're all looking for alternatives. They're also comfortable with remote work, and homeschooling is sort of an analog of that. So I think they are ripe for homeschooling, but they do need guidance and help and tools of the highest quality and order. But I would say homeschooling is still very, very hard. It would be great to have, automatic lesson plans and curricula and materials, and frankly, something that can compete with games. The games out there are so good now. The cheap dopamine addictions are so good. How do you raise kids in an environment where they have the iPad and they have unlimited YouTube videos and TikTok and, for teenagers and Snapchat? And how do you compete against legal marijuana? How are you going to incent your kids to get off the couch in that kind of an environment? So I think, contraception, so you have a lot of teenage sex going on. How do you compete with that? How do you create an environment where there's any room for anything else other than pure indulgence?
Some parents might be concerned that if their children get to follow their interests, all they'll want to do is play video games. What would you say to those parents? How do you do unschooling in a world where there are these highly, highly addictive video games available?
Naval, this is a good question, but I hesitate to answer because it's not a question that is answered easily. I think it really starts with family values, starting with what kind of parent do you want to be? Personally, what's worked for me is a non-coercive parenting style. I think we need to be very cautious about coercing our children to do anything. Keeping them from running into oncoming traffic, that's a good time to be a coercive parent. Homeschooling is not the time to be a coercive parent. What we want to be is a persuasive parent. Coercion is getting people to do something they do not want to do. Persuasion is helping people do something they themselves want to do. Homeschooling is a privilege. It's a choice, and it's not for everyone. And if a child does not want to be homeschooled, they want to go to conventional school, that's their right, and they should absolutely go to conventional school. I know video games can be very engaging, but let me tell you, in my experience, none of them compare to a child who is motivated to be homeschooled. If a child wants to be homeschooled, they will follow through. Now, this backs up to family values again. Let's define values. Values, in my book, in my definition, are attributes of the person you want to become. And this is something we've taught our daughter, who's been homeschooled since the first grade. And starting early is very important. We have to ask our children, what kind of person do they want to become, and help them make a schedule to fulfill their values. So perhaps one of the most important concepts we can teach our children is the idea of an opportunity cost. We don't want to terrify our children and tell them that technology is melting their brain or addicting them. That's ridiculous. What we want to do is tell them that the price of using these technologies or overdoing it is what else you could be doing. Spending time with your friends, helping around the house, all the other things you want to do, that's the price.